speaking getting you down? Does your voice hold you back from getting where you want to be in your business and your brand and your life? Does it hold you back from putting yourself out there? No worries, you are not stuck with the voice that you have now. Getting a better voice is a craft. That's it. It's just skills. It's a skill set to learn. Friend, I was right there with you. Today, I'm sharing with you exactly how I changed my voice from being barely there to having a voice that's commanding and that can lead groups successfully. And most of all, I'm no longer afraid to get out there. You will never be afraid to ask for the sale or to do a Zoom or to present in front of as many people as you want to with my top 5 tips on improving your voice today. Not tomorrow, today. Be sure to stay with me till the very end because I'm going to share with you my favorite bonus tip on how to improve your voice, and nobody is talking about this. Hey there, I'm Paula, and I'm a professional singer and speaker, and I am a coach for public speaking entrepreneurs. I'm here to help entrepreneurs and business professionals speak more confidently, powerfully, and profitably. If you want to stop shying away from those sales calls and making those presentations, you are going to want to grab my cheat sheet, the Ultimate Voice Guide, 7 tips for getting a voice that you love. I'll put a link down in the description. So like I was saying, public speaking is the #1 fear that we humans have, and most people don't know what to do about that. People who are fearful about getting up in front of people to talk end up sounding weak, boring, or both, sounding like they lack confidence, they're not sure of their brand, and they're not trustable. That's just how the audience perceives you. And I was no exception. I spent most of my younger life with a very small, weak, breathy voice that everyone had to keep asking me to speak up. Even though I studied voice from the time I was a kid up through college and grad school, and I got very, very good at selling myself to schools and to jobs, something seemed to shift when I opened my own business 25, almost 26 years ago. It's like something happened when I went into business for myself. And there was a whole other set of fears and a whole other set of imposter syndrome that I needed to get past. It was almost like having all of that responsibility to bring in my own paycheck triggered some other fears that maybe I hadn't tackled yet. Have you ever gone from being an employee working for somebody else to working for yourself? If so, let me know in the comments below. But eventually I did work through that, and I ended up bringing in more than 7 figures in sales in my business while being a single mom, raising 2 children very hands-on, and I live to tell about it. And I'm going to share with you exactly how I did that right now. My first tip to improve your speaking voice and get through performance anxiety that holds you back is to learn conscious breathing. Conscious breathing also helps us to overcome performance anxiety, largely known as stage fright. Everything in speaking and singing starts with the breath. It's not something that we have to think about all the time, do we? We largely go unconsciously breathing throughout our lives. However, when you are planning out a speech or a presentation, that Zoom meeting, that phone call to sell, you're going to want to know where you're going to be breathing ahead of time. And you're going to want to use this large muscle down here called the diaphragm. When you take a breath in, the diaphragm goes down and moves the rib cage out so that you can get more air in your lungs. It's very, very simple and also takes a little bit of practice, to be honest with you, but I have a whole video about that and I will be linking it down below and above. My second tip to improve your voice and have a voice that everybody loves to listen to is to use melody. Now, melody you may have heard of as a vocabulary word in music, but we also use this for speaking. It's commonly called inflection. Sometimes some people have a very low inflection down here and other people have a very high inflection up here. And ideally what you want to be doing when you're speaking is you want to use a variety of inflection. Problem is, however, most people are only using a very small part of their range. Your range is the lowest comfortable pitch and the highest comfortable pitch that you can speak. And the problem is a lot of people get very comfortable for various reasons only having a very small amount of notes to speak from, and they end up sounding monotone. Bueller, anyone. That gets very, very boring. At the same time, you don't want to be speaking with so much inflection that you're up and you're down and you sound like you're talking to a toddler, because that makes you sound inauthentic. And one of the very first things that I do when I'm working with a new client is I use my music ability and my musical training as a singer, and I test their vocal range so that I know what their vocal cords are capable of producing, and then I'm able to determine how many notes of their given range are they actually using and work with them on stretching that. My third tip to improving your speaking voice and being a more effective leader because you have a more effective voice is to use the right tempo. Tempo just means fast or slow. What speed are you speaking at? In music, we have all sorts of tempo markings. We have grave, which is very slow, and then we have vivace and presto, which is very, very fast. You probably can think of people in your own life that are grave or vivace presto, right? Well, when you're giving a speech or you are presenting, you want to make sure that you have a consistent tempo that's not too fast and not too slow. We can think of this as moderato. However, there are times when you might want to slow down your speed to get a point across, or you might want to up your speed to also get a point across in a different way or to create excitement. My fourth tip to improve your speaking voice and to become a more effective, confident, and powerful public speaker is to improve the quality of your voice. In other words, the aesthetics of your voice. Does your voice sound too nasally and tight like this? Or does it sound too airy and breathy? Or maybe it's raspy all the time. The Kardashians started this whole generation of people that speak like this. It's called vocal fry, and the jury's out on whether or not that actually does any damage to your vocal cords. Interesting to me as a singer is that the trend in music has been towards lyrical singing, that more ethereal, airy, breathy sound like Olivia Rodrigo or Billie Eilish. As a professional speaker, however, you want to land somewhere in the middle, unless you're trying to speak in a certain character for effect. If you are speaking nasally or raspy and you have a lack of airflow while you're speaking, that's not a healthy vocal habit. You're going to end up losing your stamina. You're going to end up losing your voice and having a sore throat every time you have to present for any length of time. I work with clients individually and in groups on exactly this. And my fifth tip to improving your speaking voice right now is to use this little thing called dynamics. Dynamics are how soft or how loud you're going to speak. In music, we have terms for that. We have piano, which is usually a little p, which means soft, and forte, which means loud, and that's like a little scripted F. Some people speak way too softly like a mouse and you're really struggling to hear them. And some people speak so loud that it's like they're shouting at you, and it gets really, really draining on your psyche after a while. You don't want to listen to them for very long. Plus, they sound angry. But if you know how to use dynamics and you plan this out purposely, you can use the softs and the louds to invite your audience in on your journey. And you could really use that to elicit emotions and to get people to really be involved with your speech. Dynamics will make your speech dynamic. And my bonus tip that I promised you in the beginning to improve your speaking voice to become a more effective, powerful, and confident speaker is to write out your script ahead of time and annotate it. I honestly don't know why more people don't talk about this. In music and singing, we take our musical score, our sheet music, and we're marking it up all over the place. But speakers tend to not do that. And you really don't want to be going to do a speech or a presentation or a sales call that you have not been fully prepared for. It makes you seem underprofessional. So what you can do is you can write out your speech and double space it. And then you want to indicate on that where you want to be loud, where you want to be soft, where you want your inflection to go up, where you want your inflection melody to go down, what tempo you want to be, where do you want to pause, and most importantly, you literally want to put a little check mark or a comma anywhere that you are going to plan to consciously breathe. Otherwise, they pause, but they don't actually take a breath. And then they're wondering why at the end they're raspy, they're losing their voice, they're tired, they're sweating. That's why. So my top 5 tips today are to breathe consciously, speak with melody, use appropriate tempo, improve your vocal quality, use dynamics when you're speaking, and my bonus tip, annotate your script. Please, if you do nothing else, that is the most important thing to do. You'll be amazed what a difference this makes immediately. You'll feel and look more polished. You will not experience the stage fright, performance anxiety that you've been accustomed to. It just takes some skill and some practice. That's it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and look out for my next video where I'm going to be talking about my top tips for taking care of your voice. This is all about the health of the voice. So if you are experiencing vocal fatigue, you're going to want to look out for that video. While you wait, check out this other video. If this was helpful, let me know and please give it a like. Thanks.